Let's see if we can figure out all this stuff here. So we got our parallelogram. We're given the vertices, and we're not given that last vertice. But by definition of parallelogram, this side is parallel to this one, and this side is parallel with this one. Okay. So anyways, let's say, let's calculate the coordinates of E right here, the midpoint of AB, the midpoint. So how can we calculate the midpoint? Well, we want to find the midpoint between those 2 points. So you add up the x values and divide them by 2. And then you add up the y values and add them and divide them by 2. You average the x's and you average the y's. So -3 plus 5 is 2, which is 1. And then 3 plus 2 is 4. So you get 2. So over 1 up 2. So that point right there is 1, 2. Cool. So we got that midpoint. All we're doing is just find the midpoint of AB. Determine the equation of the line for CE. Oh, so we're given the endpoints of the line. We need to find the equation of that line. So really, we need to find the slope of that line first. So the slope of that line would be the rise over run. So the rise would be your y-coordinates. So 2 minus a -2. And the run would be the x-coordinates, 1 minus 7. So that's like pluses, 4 over -6. So it's 2 over -3, so -2/3. So we know this much, y equals -2/3 x plus b. We don't know what the y-intercept is. So that line supposedly goes on up here and hits the y-axis. We need to find that point right there, that y. So take one of your points. I'll just take the 1, 2, and plug it in. So pick either point E or C. I'm gonna take E. 2 equals -2/3 times 1 plus b. Now we'll just solve for b. Add the 2/3 away. So 2 and 2/3. So the equation would be y equals -2/3 x plus 2 and 2/3. So basically I solved for b there. I got my y-intercept. So there's my equation. Determine the coordinates of D. Determine the coordinates of D. Well, if you look here about my slope, if these two lines are parallel to each other, then they have the same slope. And I have to go down. How far would I have to go down? Like if I go down, that's the y-coordinates, right? I'm going to go down 3, then down 2 more to get to -2. So I'm going to go down 5. So if I start over here and went down 5, then my y-coordinate would be -4. And then if I went down 5, then I would have to go from 5 to 7. So from 5 to 7 would be 2 units. So I would go down 5, and then I go to the right 2 units, so I'd be at -1. So my coordinates would be -1, -4. What's the equation of the line AC, from A to C? So we're going to do the same thing we just did a second ago. We'll take our 2 lines, we'll take our 2 points, and find the slope. So the slope here, let's get rid of some of this writing. So pause this and get your writing, get this copy down. I'm going to delete it off now. So here my rise and run. So I'm using A to C. Rise would be my y-coordinates. So I'm rising 3. From 1 to -2 is 3. And I'm running -3 to 7. That's a 10. So my slope is 3/10. Now pick a point. Doesn't matter which one. We'll solve for b. So I'm going to pick the -3, 1. So my y value is -1, 3/10 times x, which was -3, plus b. So it's -1 equals -9/10 plus b. We'll subtract that away. Oh, we'll add it away to get to 0. And when -1 plus 9/10 would be 1/10. So my equation then, I'm going to take that and erase it off and put a 1/10 right there. Positive 1/10. There's my equation for AC. And then how long is BC? From B to C. So let's get rid of some of this scribble. Well, if I were to take BC, BC's down here. Almost found the wrong side. If I were to make a right triangle out of this, went straight down, and then straight over, and made a right triangle out of that, I would have had to have gone from 3 down to -2. So that side length there would be 5. And then I would have had to went from 5 on the x-axis here all the way to 7. So that's a size of 2. And it's a right triangle, so the Pythagorean theorem works here. 2 squared plus 5 squared equals this unknown value squared. I'll just say it's x squared. So 4 plus 25 equals x squared. And that's 29 equals x squared. And we'll take the square root to solve it. So it equals the square root of 29. You can put that in your calculator if you need a specific number, but you can just leave it in square root form, the square root of 29.